Do you actually have the guts to listen to this? A leaked audio recording, allegedly of Menglong just before he passed, has surfaced. In it, you can hear him sobbing and screaming, "I'm suffering so much. How could you do this to me?" This isn't some scene from a horror flick. This was his final stand on the brink of hell. But even in this suffocating darkness, the seeds of resistance are starting to ignite and spread. It's growing from an unmarked bench in a Beijing park to a massive, nationwide boycott of Zhang Yimou's latest propaganda blockbuster. The war between the common people and the arrogance of power has officially begun. Today, we're dissecting these modified lyrics, his desperate cries for help, and the screams that are finally tearing through the veil to expose the truth. Hey there, Tracers! It feels amazing to finally address you all by this name. Huge thanks for giving me the green light in the previous video. It's official now. We're a team of detectives, and together, we're going to keep hunting for those truths they've tried so hard to bury deep. Today, this isn't just about one person. It's about how a system tries to silence the small voices that refuse to bow down. We're going to see how profound loss is transforming into raw courage on the streets, in the theaters, and all the way into university halls. Steel yourselves, because what we're about to uncover today might just change the way you look at the glitz and glamour of the entertainment world forever. Stay sharp and pay attention to every detail, because you never know how deep this hole goes. Recently, an audio clip allegedly recorded while Yu Menglong was undergoing extreme torture before his death has gone viral. It's short, but the content is absolutely gut-wrenching. In the recording, you can hear a man sobbing hysterically. His voice carries this heavy sense of helplessness and agonizing pain. He's heard saying, There were already rumors swirling that Menglong had been under immense pressure for a long time because he refused to play by the dirty rules of the corporate giants. Speculation even suggests he held proof of money laundering by top executives on a USB drive. Word is, in his final moments, he swallowed that flash drive to protect the evidence. This is exactly where that chilling term PO, or dissection, comes from in the rumors. To make matters worse, footage of Fan Shiki rubbing his stomach during a concert has triggered suspicions that it was a subconscious reflex after being involved in such a heinous act. One netizen commented, "Just hearing his voice makes me shake with fear and pure rage. I can't even begin to imagine the hell he went through." Thank you for speaking out and sharing that fear and anger. So many of us feel the same way, carrying this weight together until the truth finally comes to light. This isn't a TV drama, this isn't a horror movie, this might have actually happened to someone who lived among us. Looking back, Menglong had actually been signaling for help for a long time. At the time, we all just brushed it off as artistic expression. But after his passing, people started re-watching his performances and realized, with horror, that he was screaming for help through modified lyrics and hand signals over and over again. Just recently, netizens dug up an old video of him performing Yu Jian Encounter, the theme song from the film Turn Left, Turn Right. You see, Tracers, the original lyrics to that song go, "The future cannot be arranged just like that." But when Yu Menglong performed it, he pointedly changed the line to, "The future must absolutely not be arranged in this way." He refused to let his fate be dictated to him, or more accurately, he refused to be a puppet for the dark hand pulling strings from the shadows. Even with his back against the wall, he never wavered. He held on to his ideals with this incredible, raw grit and a soul that simply refused to break. The final line of the song says, "One day, the puzzle of who I am will be solved." Hearing it now, those words sound exactly like a parting message or even a prophecy. But that wasn't the only time he tried to tell us something. There's another striking moment from when he performed a song in English. He changed the lyrics to, "There is no truth, No one truly cares about me. This life is so dark, so cruel. I'm done with this masquerade. How could this possibly just be song lyrics? This was clearly a final scream from the depths of the darkest abyss, using every last bit of strength he had left. The tragedy is, back then, no one understood. The authorities have tried everything to wipe him from existence, scrubbing posts, nuking accounts, even making arrests, but you can't silence the heartbeat of the people. Following the lead of Iceland, the UK, France, and Australia, Indonesia now has its own Yu Menglong memorial tree. And just recently, a memorial bench for him appeared right in the heart of Beijing. The location is incredibly symbolic. It's near the Sunshine Upper East Complex where he was born, specifically in Xiaohe Park. There are photos proving this is the exact bench he used to sit on when he was alive. Now, you won't find a brass plaque or an official nameplate here like you would overseas. Because in his home country, we all know the deal. If they did that, the bench would probably be gone by morning. But that hasn't done a thing to stop people. Netizens are showing up on their own accord, quietly leaving flowers, food, and drinks. It's a wordless pact, a form of resistance that's subtle yet undeniably real. Do you guys remember the memory wall in Anhui? During his life, Yu Menglong traveled to Anqing to help promote the local Napa cabbage. To honor his memory, fans went as far as buying out one of the walls at that very event site, transforming it into a dedicated memorial wall. But what happened next? Just 2 days later, on December 9th, the authorities tore that wall down. That's exactly why, with this bench in Beijing, netizens are constantly praying, hoping it doesn't meet the same tragic end or get demolished like the memorial wall. Someone even carried a flag with his portrait all the way to a mountain peak. It was a breathtaking view, one he never got the chance to see for himself while he was still with us. Netizens commented, "Thank you to the Yu Jiajun, the Yu family army, for carrying the boss all the way to the summit. We're not going anywhere. We're staying right here until the dawn breaks." Even on the massive screens at Wuhu Wanda Plaza and shopping centers across other cities, Yu Menglong's image suddenly began to appear. Who was behind this? It was every ordinary person who simply refused to forget. In the fight for justice for Yu Menglong, people have been flooding every office they can think of with letters, the police, the prosecutors, the courts, even the public grievance bureaus. A few days ago, right around Valentine's Day, one netizen shared their excitement. Finally, the police called me. Writing those letters actually worked." But what was the catch? As the netizen revealed, the officer on the line didn't ask a single question about the details of the case. Beyond just verifying personal info, they barely even mentioned Yu Menglong's name. Then, they started baiting the netizen, trying to trip them up into accidentally revealing certain information, hoping they'd let something slip from their own mouth without even realizing it. This was never a real investigation. It was a textbook baiting tactic, a mapping exercise, a move to maintain stability, or at least the illusion of it. But the netizens were one step ahead. They played it smart and shot back. Look up the information yourself on the internet before hanging up right then and there. It's exactly like the comment said, they're actually terrified of those letters, scared to death. But it's not the paper they're afraid of. It's the collective conscience of hundreds of thousands, even millions of people who refuse to back down in their demand for the truth. The reason this hits so hard, why we're so angry and find it so impossible to let go, is because this was never just about Yu Menglong alone. Yu Menglong was a superstar with 20 million fans, yet in the face of raw power and capital, his life was snuffed out just like that, with zero accountability. If someone like him can meet such a tragic end, then what about us, the ordinary people? This kind of arrogance from those in power, treating people as nothing more than leeks to be harvested whenever they please, as mere tools or even slaves, it's something you can find almost everywhere now, from the entertainment industry to every corner of society. If you don't believe me, just take a look at these other events that just unfolded. Hey everyone, before we dive into the video, we want to announce that we're launching a brand new segment called Trace Your Story. For this segment, you can send us a real-life story you've experienced, from horror and cheating to crime or any other true story you have. Send us your story at Sean Varel, traceyourstory@gmail.com, using this format. Email subject, Trace Your Story. Story title, your title here. Tell us your experience in as much detail as possible. Feel free to include any supporting photos or evidence if you have them. Optional contact, your WhatsApp number or another way we can reach you for more information. Don't worry, you can absolutely send your story anonymously if you prefer. We'll do our best to create a video and tell your experience. I'm really looking forward to your emails, and who knows, your story might be the very first one featured on Trace Your Story. Don't forget to submit your stories. I'll be waiting and can't wait to read them. The Lunar New Year movie season felt unusually quiet this year. But one film suddenly blew up and became the center of attention, though, for all the wrong reasons. It was getting absolutely trashed online. That film is Jingzhe Wusheng in Silence, a spy thriller directed by Zhang Yimou and starring Jackson Yi. This film is no joke. Right there on the posters, it's clearly stated that the Ministry of State Security stepped in as official advisors. In fact, it's being hyped up as a historical first for Chinese cinema, the first film ever to be directly guided by the country's intelligence agency, with a storyline adapted from an actual real-life espionage case. Logically, with a state director like Zhang Yimou at the helm, a top-tier superstar as the lead, and the full backing of the government, the box office numbers should have been a slam dunk, right? But the reality? As soon as the pre-sale numbers dropped, the film was left eating the dust of Han Han's Only the Life 3. Audiences are straight up refusing to drop a single cent on this movie. Seeing the writing on the wall, the production house panicked and started playing dirty. But they didn't expect what happened next. A cinema management group in Shanxi became the first to stage a full-blown open rebellion against them. A total of 390 cinema managers joined forces to boycott the film. Why? Because the distributors had completely crossed the line and were throwing their weight around. One cinema manager shared that they had already allocated a 23% screening share, which is honestly massive. But the distributors felt that wasn't enough and started demanding even more. If the theaters refused to bump up the show times, the distributors threatened to withhold the movie key KDM, effectively locking the theaters out from playing the film. They even went as far as ripping the ticket printing machines right out of the cinemas. Some theaters stood their ground and refused to cave, which ended with their entire sales systems being cut off. As a result, they were forced to issue mass refunds for all the tickets already sold because their access was unilaterally severed. What do you even call this? This isn't business, it's straight up highway robbery. Industry insiders are calling this suffocating pressure. The production house is treating cinema chains like low-level underlings, viewing the public as nothing more than leaks to be harvested for profit whenever they feel like it. They honestly think that as long as they have power backing them up, they can dictate exactly what we're supposed to watch. But this time, the theaters aren't taking it lying down, and the public is fighting back right alongside them. Across the internet, a single post with the message, "I am just an ordinary person, and I refuse to watch," in silence went viral in an instant. Audiences these days aren't fools anymore. They aren't about to just open their wallets just because a big-name director is attached to the project. This kind of arrogance isn't just limited to the film industry. The world of academia is cut from the exact same cloth. You guys know Huang Zihong fan? The young singer who's been blowing up lately, he was on Super Vocal and is currently studying at Berklee College of Music. His dad is the famous tenor Huang Jinzhong, and his mom is a professor at Sichuan Normal University. On the outside, their family looks absolutely prestigious, just dripping with glitz and glamour. But right on Valentine's Day, a music student bravely stepped forward and filed a public report using her real identity, accusing Professor Huang Jinzhong of fraud. Here's how it went down. The student's grades weren't high enough to pass her postgraduate retakes. That's when Huang Jinzhang started manipulating her. He suggested she study abroad instead, claiming he could get her into the Venice Conservatory of Music in Italy. He even sent her a photo of an acceptance letter to congratulate her, then turned around and asked for money. In total, she wired him over 100,000 RMB, around $14,000. For an ordinary family, that is a massive sum of money, basically their entire life savings. And the kicker? As soon as she touched down in Italy, the truth hit her like a ton of bricks. Her name wasn't on the list at all. That acceptance letter she'd been holding onto this whole time? It was a complete sham. The whole thing was nothing but a cold, calculated lie. There she was, completely stranded, with absolutely no one to turn to for help. In the end, she had no choice but to crawl back home, feeling utterly humiliated and broken. What's even more infuriating is that when she asked for her money back, she was met with stone-cold silence. In her post, this student wrote one sentence that truly cuts deep. While their kid is living the high life with a skyrocketing career in show business, people like us kids from ordinary families feel like we're stuck in a dead end with no future at all. Here's the bitter truth. Privileged kids have it easy from day one, growing up in luxury, attending elite schools, and skyrocketing to stardom. Meanwhile, their parents exploit their power and the information gap to harvest kids from ordinary families who only have one dream: to change their destiny. If this isn't a scam, then what is it? It's called cutting off someone else's path just to pave a smoother one for their own. Lastly, let's talk about this year's Spring Festival Gala, Chunwan. On the night of the 14th, the Henan TV livestream was suddenly yanked offline out of nowhere. The crazy part? They were in the middle of a music and dance performance that had absolutely zero to do with politics. Netizens were left completely blindsided. Some are speculating that the Henan Gala was just too good, so good that it was making the National Gala CCTV look bad, and someone got jealous. Others think it was a deliberate move to crush the Hanfu revival trend. But the real kicker came when netizens dug up an official copyright statement that read, "Any institution or individual is strictly prohibited from using Chunwan content without authorization to protect copyright." And the internet's reaction? It was a total plot twist. Instead of being pissed off about the ban, everyone started celebrating in unison. Good riddance! Finally, CCTV went ahead and censored their own gala. A huge thank you to the national broadcaster, CMG, for stepping in. Now we can actually enjoy the new year in peace without any distractions. Why have people reached this level of burnout? There's one comment online that I think perfectly nails exactly how we're all feeling.
是台上一群天天吃海鲜夜窝的人，祝那些快揭不开锅的人年年有余。是一群妻妾成群的人，祝那些单身汉们阖家欢乐。是一群年薪百万的富豪，祝我们这些牛马恭喜发财。
太扎心了。
是一群住着豪宅、开着豪车的人，祝那些买不起房的人安居乐业。是一群常年定居国外的艺术家，祝那些国门都没有出过的人国泰民安。
太讽刺了，
对吧？
These days, the Spring Festival Gala is nothing more than a stage for people who don't even need the spotlight, a way to line the pockets of those who are already filthy rich. The ban on the Henan Gala is the perfect reflection of a single mindset. I won't let you outshine me, and I sure as hell won't let the voice of the people drown out the voice of the elite. From Yu Menglong's desperate cry of, "You're intentionally assassinating my character," to the way Zhang Yimou's films were forced down our throats. From the celebrity professor's study abroad scam to the censorship of the Henan Gala behind it all, there is only one logic: the sheer arrogance of power and a total contempt for ordinary people. They feel entitled to play God with a star's career, think they can dictate exactly what we're allowed to watch, believe it's perfectly fine to drain a student's hard-earned savings, and assume they have the right to silence any work that's better than their own. But there's one thing they never saw coming. They never expected Yu Menglong's fans to build a memorial bench for him in Beijing. They never expected cinema managers to band together in a boycott just to keep their businesses alive. They never expected a defrauded student to have the guts to file a report using her real name. And, most importantly, they never expected the audience to vote with their feet, walking out of the theaters and letting their films crash and burn at the box office. Yu Menglong is someone who looks at the world with such kindness. During his last appearance at the Dragon Boat Festival Gala last year, he noticed fans trying to take his picture from the floor above. Instead of turning away, he purposely posed and cooperated so they could get a great shot. Even when someone tried to sneak a photo of him, he'd subtly adjust his posture just to make sure the result was perfect. That's not just an act, that's a level of etiquette and sincerity that's woven into his very soul. And now, that sincerity has been brutally crushed. Yet, the strength hidden within that kindness is finally waking up. That memorial bench in a Beijing park might look empty right now, but I believe that as long as we don't forget, that seat will always be filled by the presence of a collective conscience. If you, tracers, care about this as much as I do, please hit that like button and share this video. Don't let the truth be buried, and don't let fear win. If you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.